सत्करदार दोस्तों, वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, namaskar, buonasera Italia. And today it is my pleasure to be in conversation with maestro Marco Beasley, who is an Italian tenor. He's the founder of the ensemble Accordone. He studied music at the University di Bologna, where my elder son, Luigi Heritahel Singh is studying as well. But of course, he's studying cultural anthropology and Sanskrit and so on and so forth. But it's wonderful to see that Maestro Marco Beasley is also from the same institution. As a singer, actor and writer, he embraces the carefree soul of Naples, the joie, the vivre of making music, along with the desire to inculcate poetry and literature. His timbre, and now this is really the exciting part for me personally, a very particular vocal technique that he is noted to have. And it is a result of the extensive personal and historical research. His love of words and a predisposition for expressiveness has resulted in a variety of vocal colors and registers, enabling the creation of a musical approach in which joie and burlesque irreverence give way to a more plaintive and solitary style. His vocal and expressive qualities, united with his sensibility and fantasy, have resulted in original interpretation and reinterpretations covering a range of musical styles and periods. Nominated for Best Performer of the Year by the Dutch VSCD, it's the abbreviation for Association of Theatre and Concert Halls, in 2009, his concert career has taken him to venues like the Mozarteum in Salzburg, the Concertsbühne, or whatever the pronunciation, we'll ask Marco in some time, which is in Amsterdam, and the Accademia di Santa Cecilia in Rome, and to the Lincoln Center in New York. Dosto, Giayanu, this is the 127th Virtual Baithak Series Mēlā, as you all know. 127वां मेला हैगा. ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਾਰਤਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਉਸਤਾਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਨਗੇ ਇਟਾਲੀਅਨ ਟੈਨਰ ਹਨਗੇ ਮਾਰਕੋ ਬੀਸਲੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਏਗੀ. ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੁਹਾਰਤ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਖਾਸ ਰੁਚੀ ਰਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ, ਕਿ ਇਹ ਓਪੇਰਾ ਵਰਗੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਕੁਦਰਤਨ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨਾਲ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਨਗੇ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਦੀਆਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਯੂਰਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਇਟਲੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾਪੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਰੀਜਨ 'ਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਪੁਰਾਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗਾਇਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਕਨੀਕ ਸੀ, ਗਾਇਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵਿਧੀ ਹੈ, ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਜੋ ਤਾਬੀਅਤ ਸੀ, ਤਰਤੀਬ ਸੀ, ਤਰਕੀਬ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੁਨਰ ਸੁਰਜੀਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ. ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਣਾਉਟੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਵੀਂ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਓਪਰਾ ਨੂਮਾ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਗਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਹਟ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਯਤਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਜੋ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਜਿਸ ਕਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਸ ਕਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ ਸਨ. एक खास इन्हां दी जिन्हों कहिए इन्हां दी देन है. ते मैनूं बड़ी खुशी है अज इन्हां नाल वार्ता करन दी. मैनूं आस है तुहानूं भी बहुत भला लगेगा. Marco, benvenuti. I'm so glad we are in conversation finally.
Thank you very much.
It was. I'm so grateful to Luigi Polsini for he connected us at the time, because I was and of course because I was looking at the work when I was working with Rai 3, the radio, Italian radio, and Stefano Roffi. He joked with me actually. He said we were looking, because I was working with Carolina Pace, with Michele Carreca, with Pepe Frana, with Valentina and Valerio Losito. So I had created this ensemble in Anād Ensemble, my foundation name ensemble in Rome, and because this year is the 550th birth anniversary of the founder of the Sikh religion, as they say, but it's Sikh marg, Sikh faith. So I thought, why not have instruments that were in use at the time when Gurū Nānak traveled. He's the second most traveled person in history. So he went around, he's said to have gone to the Vatican, he went to every place, he went to Makkah, he went to Tibet, all the religious places or spiritual centers he visited to see. So I thought he traveled, and what was the music he was listening? what were the instruments, what were the vocal techniques. So in that conversation, your name came up that, oh, here is someone, because I was having issues that opera voice, everybody is singing, even ancient music, when that vocal technique was yet to evolve, when it was still in small ensembles, people are now interpreting it in a way which is fine. If an opera singer wants to sing an old piece, I think that person has a freedom to do it. One should not be deprived. But I heard about you, and as someone who has worked on vocal techniques from 11th, 12th century to the 18th and almost 19th century, mid 19th century, I was like up on the moon when I was listening to your work in lockdown in Rome. I said, this is a miracle, and that there's someone who's done, and not small work but long work. So I'm really happy that we are going to talk today about the vocal techniques and of course about your work.
I am very happy about what you said, because it's a sort of panegyric of my activity. But I want to start with an example. That is this one. More or less 10 years ago, I was in Austria visiting a friend in a period of concerts, and this friend of
Yes,
mine,
when there used to be concerts,
where there used to be concerts.
when we met people on stage.
No, I tell this because it was not only for vacation. It was a vacation between two concerts. So I went to this guy, to this friend of mine, who was living in the country, in Carinthia, that is considered the Thousand Lakes region of Austria, and he is fascinated by horses and come si dice, what you are seated on,
The saddle.
the carriage.
Yes, I see, the carriage, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said to me, Marco, why not to do a path, a trip from where we are now for 20 kilometers? I say, yes, I never did it. So we started with these two horses and the two of us on the carriage. And what was incredibly for me was that the path was only 200 meters from the main street, from the motorway. But the path was in the countryside. And we were going from a point to another point with two horses. We were in silence. These two horses that were sweating, making a lot of noise, jumping. So two vital animals, no? That were driving us somewhere else. So there was a connection, an ideal connection between the men and the animals, the whole nature around us, and the contrast of the time we put to do these 20 kilometers that makes hours and hours of traveling, looking to the motor, to the cars that were speedy, going on the motorway, gave me the essence of what does it mean making early music, and what we lost in our life. We lost the sense of the time, the real sense of the time. We take the airplane, but our head, our brain is still on the place where we were, where we start. And when we come back after 2, 3, 4 days, it's difficult. It's not only the how shall I say, the time zone, not a change, the jet lag, but the jet lag is something in the brain mainly. We lost the idea of what were so important. Why was so important the travel itself, because the travel is knowledge, and we lost the knowledge. We only have the travel now, but we don't have the knowledge anymore. We don't adapt ourselves, our soul. We don't change the food. This is bad. We don't. No, we still are in the. Yes, okay. We go to the restaurant. We can eat what we want, of course. No? But no, to do this in a real way, it takes time, and we lost that. Of course, in that time, life was also shorter. Life was more hard. Life was more difficult. Now we have a lot of things easy. You know, we are talking in the video. You are in your camp 4 hours. No, in the future than me.
Yeah.
No, and we are. I am glad for that, because I am a man of 2020. But I also.
I'm your future. I'm your future.
Yes, you are the future. Yes, in a way, you are living in the future.
No, when you will have the beard.
Oh yes, I will not have it. You see, it's very, very difficult for me to develop a bit. Anyway, what I want to say is that we must consider when we going to the small world of the early music, we must consider how big it is.
Yes.
How important is to adapt not only the voice, but to adapt ourselves to what the music is asking us. The music is asking us, in general, I think, is asking us to stay, to be ourselves. There is not a hurry in making music. There is no stress in music. The music is a care for the soul, and not only for the body. It's something. When I hear this boom, 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 no, the techno or something, it's okay, but it's a phenomenon. It's something that now appears and disappears. It's something that is invasive for our life, but we can also take it out if we are open-minded. And this was for me the thought in that 20 kilometers. How lucky I was to have this option, this possibility, to understand also a bit when someone was moving from a place to another place. What really, and we were privileged because of the horses.
Yes.
But then many times they did walking.
Gurū Nānak walked 25 miles each day.
So it's important to understand this, because it's I guess we become wiser in a way. Also the contact between the person that you meet in the trip, the talk, the openness of some people, and also the closeness of others, no? But you can understand better what does it mean, and you can also understand better what is the difference between the people who lives in different countries, no? They are only adapted, but we are all the same in a way. So I started from far away to talk about
No, this is very important what you shared. Yeah.
Yeah, because also the idea, the music is always a travel.
Yes.
No, when we tell a story, I am a singer, so I am a storyteller. It's not offensive when I am asked, when I'm called, he is a storyteller.
Yeah.
Of course, a singer, he's a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes, because we are telling stories, we are telling emotions, we are telling funny things, or we are telling very sad things, but are stories. We are telling words, we are talking with the people who is listening. For me, when I do a concert, for me, it's the public that is welcome. It's not me that I'm welcome for them. Or there is an exchange. Yes. The fact that they came to visit, it's like an open door of a house. How is important to open the door of a house? Yes, welcome here, visit. This is where I live. This is a piece of what I am. And the music is the message, the messenger, no? Through this. Because I first am a man, and then I'm a musician. Yes. And I am very lucky, and I am so grateful to my parents that make the gift to have a good voice for that repertoire, no? And to also, in some ways, to learn me how to be together with others. And this was also because I was born in Naples.
Yes.
that is difficult town, but it's a town of happiness, no doubt about that.
I have a few people who are I'm dealing with Neapolitans for half my life now.
I understand.
I'm married to an Italian. I have a son who's a Neapolitan. My brother-in-law, everybody. So my best friends are Neapolitans. So it is so heartwarming, really. Yesterday, in my conversation with one of the top contemporary Punjabi poets, the meeting went on for 6 hours and plus. I was sharing exactly that the absence of the idea of journey, and it's like a deja vu. I spoke about the air travel, that we go from here to there, but it's almost like we never travel. It's like from a door to a door, but in between that space, that sense of space, that transition. And it's amazing what you just said. I said it last night, that it's about the encounters people had when they were walking. Each journey made them richer, their story built. Here we are always carrying our story, which is stale, which is old. Our story never ages. It doesn't grow. It doesn't grow branches. It doesn't become a memory. It remains a contemporary trauma. Like nothing else happens. So it's amazing to hear that you begin with that idea of journey. And there's an old proverb in the Indic idea of learning, "So bavare, so mat." 100 idiots together will have 100 faiths, but 100 so syane, ik mat. But 100 wise people will have one faith. So no matter. In fact, the idea of journey, as it's been my simple write-off when I hear people that, I was missing, there was no sense of journey. The musician was singing, but was unable to transport himself or herself from a place to another, and therefore failed to transport me from the place I was stuck to a new place where I'm seeing a new threshold, a new horizon. And when I can be in a state of awe and I say, whoa, wow, this is beautiful. So that they're not able to move us. They're not able to budge because they're so fixated. It's as if they have a mirror in which they only see themselves, their ego, and they have their own story to tell themselves. They are the speaker, they are the listeners. And there's no interaction for me to hear that you open the door, you welcome others. It's not that you're going anywhere. They come into our world, our storytelling world, our narrations,
There is.
Please.
I guess that there are no needs to be too much ego, because we already are living with ourselves for the whole life. So why we have to increase it more than it is? No. Yeah. For me, the beautiful things is that we instead. We are able to communicate to others. No? There is something that the connection together with the other, in which we want to talk in some ways to the other. Now I want to sing for the others, but it's also for me a gift that the other want to listen. So the communication is like that, and you perhaps you know, but for me it's always a nice vision when I am singing in public, of course, and the most of what we almost decide during the rehearsal, we don't do in concert, because the atmosphere of the concert is different. Many times the atmosphere, you want to create an atmosphere, you want to do something, and you give a shape of it, no, in the performance, but then you see the face of the public, someone who knows, for example, the song you are singing, and they start not to use use the lips to say, but they sing together, quite far away, but they know it already. So this connection change. It's never a standard. The standard is what you want to do, but what it happens is not the standard. It's something up, and this something always different and always new. This I have to say that I am very lucky that in my musicians, the musicians to which I was making music together, first were friends, and we developed together.
It is so
and
important.
I try always to have always the same people. The musician, someone we know very well. It's a house.
Yes, yeah.
It's like you're at home, and you offer glasses and things of that. No, you don't have to be formal. You don't have to be, come si dice, in a way, too artificial.
Yes, there has to be that sense of intimacy. There has to be some intimacy that must evolve.
See, and that you let the people, the public, understand when it could be artificial, and understand also when it's not. During the concert, in some pieces, we start in a way that could look artificial, but then you recognize that it's not artificial, because it's something that comes from the soul. This is why, at least when I finish the concert, I am always very, 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 very tired. Very tired, but also very happy. Very happy, because I want to tell you one more thing. My ideal performer is the one who you don't see. I mean, you don't know anything. He's a sort of phantom who appears, goes on the stage, do the best he can, and then he disappears totally, and you create a myth, something like that. So it would be wonderful. Since when I was a child, I like this idea, not of performer, but to be someone. I was never able to do like that, because I like so much the contact between the people that even before the concert I am with the public. Even the moment in which I need to be very concentrated, and so for me it helps to be with the public. And then in that moment I am Marco. Then I become artist when I go on stage, but it's always Marco there. But it's Marco the artist there. 1 hour, 2 hours, then stop. It's Marco back again. I am not So this is for me what I think an artist must be. Not someone who, no, oh yes, I did many things. I am absolutely proud of what I do. It's such a difficult and thoughtful life. No, perhaps I'm lucky for that, but I think that only if we find our soul connected with where we walk, with our feet on the floor, we can go to the stars.
Yeah, I absolutely. My teacher, one of the most important teacher of mine, Bhai Baldeep Singh Tarangad, you talk of musicians, what happens when we know each other. He used to say that the ideal percussionist, he taught me, I had the oldest school of percussion in South Asia, which of course after 1947, the partition of India, people forgot. It almost became extinct, so I revived that, something like you've been busy with reviving the old techniques. He would say that the ideal percussionist is the one who knows exactly the inside of the singer, who anticipates every move, who knows, he says you could be playing a pattern which is very complex, but then, you know, when you enter the so you'd be playing that pattern, or so you're playing something and the singer is performing and singing the composition, and improvising as well. But then you anticipate the beat, the first beat of the cycle. You should know that now he's going to come at the end of this cycle or the end of the he's now making a one cycle approach to the sum, the point of origin and the point of end, the ebb and flow, or two cycles later. He says, and you must begin from there. And that is a surprise, and that's the miracle you cause. It's a feat, human feat. It's not some by chance. It's not a fluke. It is. That is what practice is, and you have to know the inside, and that is where the miracles occurred. That's where people, and he was 1900 born. He's telling me of the time, the golden age, the last of the golden era was before the mid 20th century, and he was one of the mega stars. So he would say that, oh, then he says, oh, I would come like that, and the singer would be coming back after the improvisation, and people would say, wow, that's a climax. And people would be just jumping in joy. That idea cannot happen suddenly out of, when you do not know, there is not that oneness. And just to contrast this, when my great-granduncle, the legendary Baba Jwala Singh, is singing a composition, and he would say, and I've shared it in this series a few times, maybe 2-3 times, when he would say, while teaching me, he says, in that composition, you must play not the percussion, not the sound, but silence. You accompany it with silence. That is how the percussion plays along with it. So this is how intimately he knew the repertoire. Yep. He knew exactly how to interpret that which is being sung. And this is like in an age when there were no conservatories, modern institutions and universities that, barely teach anything. They're only teaching arrogance. Not excellence.
When I play with Stefano or Fabio Curso, that is one of the best improviser on the lute, player. What is easy for me is to sing with them, that they knows me very well. Yeah. So they knows me in the character. So they knows how to to interpretate some gesture I'm doing, some movements with the voice I'm doing, and where I want to go. So it looks like we rehearsed for 2 weeks a passage. No, it appears suddenly, but instead this passage was made for years. Cioè, there are years of knowledge, and the knowledge is not only to the reading of the scores. The knowledge is to meet is to the volunteer to be together. No? In music, not only, not so, in that moment of, I'm talking about performing now. Then in life, it's we are lucky because it's the same. Even if each of us lives in a different town in Italy. Italy is not a big country, but now my group is. One is in Trieste, another is in Bologna, another is in Salento, one is in Napoli, another one dancer is in Belgium. So no, it's a train Holland, but it's totally all. But when we meet, we need 1 day, no, of rehearsing in case we already know the repertoire. Otherwise, it takes more time, of course. But is the fact that we are always working together that gives a special sound, a special taste. When you choose to go to a restaurant, you ask for a dish like, I don't know, for a pasta in a special way, no? And they make this. In another restaurant, you can ask the same, but it's different.
It's different, yeah.
So you go to that restaurant because you want that pasta, and not it's not a standard pasta. It's not a supermarket. Unfortunately, we are living most in a supermarket. But I will not appear as a nostalgic of the beauty of the times, because we are going in a future, and this 2020 is very interesting as a year, because it already gave us something in which we have to confront it. Some big difficulties, healthy difficulties. It's not. Many people say, it looks like a war. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We are lucky that we never had. We had a lot of war all around us. We can hear about, but we didn't experience it. Yeah. So it's not a war. It's really something difficult, a moment of difficulty, but it will open minds. Even if in that special moment this is a complete confusion, no? Because the old world wants to come and take, yes, the economy, the things, but without mankind, which economy we will have? And without arts, which mankind we will have? No, this is something that people doesn't realize very much. But I am confident in the future. Because things are changing, and there is a really big need to new expressions in life. But life is art, no? The art of living. So we need it. We need to go somewhere, to do somewhere. And for me, the early music, what is considered early music, was never early. Because has already, has always inside a sort of freshness that you recognize yourself, and if you recognize yourself, your mood, your experience, that means that it's not something alien that comes from another world 5 years before, but it's that already 5 years before they have the same mood, that we can be in connection now. Cioè, the important thing is in early music is to clean the dust of the centuries, but and you will see the jewels of it.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah. And people sometimes talk of, like there was last 20, 30 years, you were listening, the Aquarian age will come. And one used to laugh that, how does it come? Is it like today, suddenly the sun is like this, the horizon is like this, tomorrow when you wake up, suddenly there's a different world. There are no idiots within the political domain. Suddenly they are saints. It doesn't work like that. But this is something which has shaken the greatest, the mightiest of the superpowers. As when I was trapped in Rome, locked down in Rome, and I was doing this COVID-19 updates in Punjabi language, sharing the lessons people were learning in Italia, sharing them. Please wake up, because here hard lessons are being learned. Wake up, people. And I was telling that, look, just weeks before this COVID-19 struck, we were hearing every day, oh, we are the superpower. Oh, I'm the mightiest president, the president of the greatest country, the most powerful country in the world. Suddenly it died. Everybody is saying, oh, this virus which nobody can see, suddenly they are on their knees. They're saying, oh, signore, virus, per favore, tell us who you are, where you came from, how we can deal with you, how we can not get sick. Everything changed. And yesterday, my guest, who's a poet, he shared something which the scientists have put together, that the entire world is frozen now, like at a standstill. And the kind of economic downturns and shock is all history, it's part of history now. It's there to be studied forever. He says, if you collected all the virus in the world, the COVID-19, and put it in, it will be 4 grams.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, that's amazing. 4 grams, and this virus has stopped the entire world. Tutto il mondo è fermato. It's like
4 grammi.
4 grammi. I thought that's amazing how people can even quantify that. But then the age, I think people are never going to be the same, at least this generation, because everybody who's sort of even born in this time, they will be remembered. This year is going to be very, very important.
Yeah.
Like 1918 and 1919, the global pandemic at that time, the swine flu, or it was called the Spanish flu at that time. It was just another reason how it got the name Spanish flu. But the only country not in war and only one that was not having a censored press at that time. All other countries that were fighting were not telling what was happening. Not much was documented. This time, every single move is being documented. So there is tons and tons, millions of terabytes worth of more information that will be studied over the next decades. Analysis upon analysis that will be, done. And I think it has forced people to now look at what is the relevance of art. In India, I have a very dear friend who's one of the top dancers in India, who's come up with a video and asking the politicians, simple, the very first question is, tell us, what have you done for art in the last few months? What have you done for the artists? Tell us one thing that you've done. So these questions are now slowly knocking the people. What is art? How is it relevant? How does it distinguish us between other species that are living simultaneously, concurrently along with us? on this planet, whose home this planet also is, and with whom we have been unkind. How does it distinguish, and how is relevant? And within that comes the paradigm of what is contemporary art. How do we respond to the contemporary times, and how do we remember the the times that have gone by, and how do we sustain and conserve the harvest? As you beautifully said, you just have to remove the dust and you find a jewel. What are the jewels from the past, and what is worth keeping? I think this is a wonderful opportunity, in spite of the the kind of a circumstance which is so hard, so trying, and so testing, and so devastating for us to even imagine. I mean, I couldn't have ever imagined 10 years back, 2 years back, 6 months back that we'll be having a year 2020 like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. What I was a bit doubtful was in watching all these online concerts, no?
Yes.
With all these windows, all these small things.
Everybody became a television station. Everybody with a smartphone.
See, and I felt a bit lost, because my thought, and I take the responsibility to say that, my thought was, now we are living about these things of the virus. No? It's creating big difficulties in people. There are a lot of people who died not only because they were old, but they were sick, they were ill, and it's not a very nice way to die. And we had 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people, no, in one day that were going, and then so I was thinking, why we have to perform, no? Why to have to give this joy on the screen? So we are, in some way, we are protected. To be solidarity, and I know how many of these screen concerts was made not for the people, but for our self-confidence. So I thought, why not to create the idea to the public that there is no music in this moment, no art.
It's so important.
Think about the way to survive, and then everything will come. Think about the desire of a new moment in which you can hear from a live concert. No? Now there is I was asked to make concerts, 1 or 2 in this year. It's since from the 1st of March that I'm not singing anymore, and I will start again, I cross my finger, in the beginning of March of next year. So 1 year that I took like a sabbatical year. Well, it's the only thing that's safe, because
a glorified explanation.
I was thinking how to perform with something soft like a lute on an arch lute, 3 meters distance, no, from each other, and I have until few seconds before with the mask, and then to see the public that one is there, another is there, another is there. Solitude music for lonely people is what we want? I don't think so. No. It's we will go out. We must be patient, and we will go out of it. Things will be better because mankind survived. There is no other things. And I always look at the glass, and if it is half full, this glass, it's not half empty. I can see that it's half full. So for me, it's important. This idea to be patient.
Cheers to the half full. Cheers to the half full glasses. To celebrate that we have, and not cry over what we don't have.
Just a second, I have the. Exactly, and just to be patient for the things would come. Things would come.
Yeah. It's 5 p.m. I think you have to take your medication.
Yes, exactly. I'm doing. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I also kept a note. It's bingo, 8:30 here, which is 5 p.m. At your time. So this is very important. I think reflections are very, very important. And I think I love the idea what you mentioned, and it's somehow I was not able to articulate like that, but you've articulated it so well. When I was in Rome, everybody said, please, why don't you sing one composition a day, something spiritual and something inspiring. I said that, when enemy comes, it's not the time to practice becoming a soldier. Now you're gone. If you not practice earlier, it's gone. So it's the time to reap the harvest. You eat what you have, what you sowed. So I'm not really interested in that. And the music, my way is not to console anybody. If you have an issue, I can sing individually, but not as a generic. So they said, no, please. So it took me 3-4 weeks. And I tried, okay, I'll sing one composition a day. But then that one, sometimes if something else came to mind, it's okay, there's another one here, or there's an example here. So half an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I did a few, 5 or 6. But then I said, but this is not working. So then I was sitting in quietude and I said, well, what do we do? And I picked up the phone and I called Luigi Polsini. I said, it was 17th of April. I said, Luigi, what are you doing day after tomorrow? He says, what do I do? I'm caught up in my farmhouse. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. I said, okay, I have an idea that I'm going to start a series of conversations. We will talk about music, we will sing in it, but we will talk about the process of knowledge. What is it to create a maestro? What is it to create a knowledgeable one? What does it take to create a knowledgeable one? What is knowledge? How important is knowledge? Why it must... I said, I want to talk about, because people have forgotten this discourse, that art was a produce of such discourses. When a person either was in discourse in a conversation with oneself, reflecting within oneself, or reflecting with other like-minded people. And there we had a manifestation in terms of colors on canvas, or a form on stone, or a song, or a poetry, etc. So he says, okay, and that was like 19. I said, perfect. So I spent 48 hours looking which software to use, how to do, and we started that process. But I loved what you said, which is, and I find myself not too far from that. That why not have music? Let us have silence. Maybe in that we will understand the value of how we cannot do without music, without art, without literature, without poetry, prose, without good music, and how important it is not to create noise. The difference between noise and music. I love that. Thank you very much for that added perspective of restraining from that, and not feeling a compulsion of doing things.
No, exactly. No, because I was astonished to see, for example, again, a blue sky.
Yes.
A sky totally blue with no airplane, no sound. The street with no traffic. No, this the animals that comes in the streets. No, on the streets, animals that you thought they were extinguished, they were there looking. And now we are trying to recollect it. But the fact is that we are trying to recollect what we were before.
Yeah.
But with this the virus of knowledge, that something is changing.
Yes.
That the animals can come to the street. That the nature took 10 days to cover a street.
Yeah.
No, to the green. no, 10 days with no maintenance to recollect. The nature is stronger than us.
Yeah.
And doesn't care very much.
We are like dispensable. Nature doesn't need us. We need it.
Exactly. We are product of the nature, not the contrary.
Yeah, we are the children, not the mommy and daddy of nature.
Exactly.
So I want to. So tell me, what is music?
But I think I already told you a lot about what is music. But it's one of the fundamental expression of our life. No? Music is the same that for a painter is the need of drawing, the need of of doing something, or for I don't know, for sculpting. Yeah. No? So it's a fundamental expression of something that cannot be reproduced, as for example said Leonardo da Vinci. For Leonardo da Vinci, music was the figuration, no, the figuration of the invisible things. So something that remains invisible, but take a shape, but remains invisible, because each of us gives a different meaning to what you are, to what is music for you. No? What is the red? How you can describe the red? You say this is red. Okay, this is red. But is this red exactly the same as you see or not? We never know. We don't know. And this is the music. Yeah. Because it is the expression of an instrument. The expression, it's giving from different selected situations. It's the wood used for a violin, the wood used for the violin, the bow, the instrumentalist, the strings, the weight instrumentalist put on strings, the thought of instrumentalist used to reproduce a note, but this is already speculative. It's not physically anymore, but the connection between spirituality and physical things has a moment in which you say, this is that and this is something different. Because also the wood is still alive after 500 years. Because the heater, no? The weather can change, and so it becomes better or worse. If there is humidity, if it's dry, if it's day, if it's night, it changes. It's never the same, exactly the same. And when you play, you will never, if you record it, you will never reproduce exactly as it was at that moment, because that was a moment of your life, or your mood. It's what I was telling you before about the rehearsal and then the concert. But how many times, if you play something in the morning, and then you play the same thing in the night, the atmosphere and also the mood and the way you sing is different. It's not the way to sing. Of course, we as a singer, we have a standard, no? We have a pattern that we choose, no? We choose, this is my pattern for this song, no? Vergine Bella by Dufay, I interpreted it in this way, because I guess that Petrarca words was made, that Dufay put the music, on Baiṭhak words in a way that I can feel like that, and I perform that. But it changes even if I perform it in the morning or in the evening. It changed because I am already older in the evening than I was in the. So there are micro changes that influenced everything.
I see.
So, for me, for many musicians, and for me too, music is the score. No, what is written on it? Okay, this is. I give you the music. This is the music, but this is the code.
Yeah.
This is the code.
Yeah.
No, this is the what the writing thinks. I can, with a sort of stenography, because the music is a sort of stenography, I give to you. You know this language, and you read it. But the way you will then perform this score will be, for sure, different than the way we. Even if you want to imitate me, you will a very good imitation.
Will still be an imitation.
Yeah, it's an imitation, but a very good imitator is the one who not only knows who you are, but can reproduce what you thought, but filter it by his own language. And for me, music is also imitation. My sound. I told you I was lucky. It's a gift that I have to have a voice that is good for the listeners. No, of course, my voice for me, it's normal. It's my voice, so I cannot change it. But when I hear the voice, is different because the voice of the inner voice is reproduced by bones. No, instead, when I hear my voice, it's a different voice. It's like the beginning of the answer machine.
Yeah.
No? I don't think that anybody who was using an answer machine says, "Oh, a nice voice I have." No, but this is my voice. Well, it's horrible. It's nobody says, "Oh, but I have a very nice voice" in the answer machine. It's fake. It's false. I don't believe in it. Yeah. So I am happy about to have this the quality of the voice, but the study I made about my voice is that I was listening to a singer, for example, that I appreciate very much, and I tried to sing something in that way to feel some sounds that I really like a lot. Man, women, doesn't care, no. But some sounds from that, then some sounds from another one, a sound from another, a mixture of them. For some British singers, I privileged for the early music, for example, British singers than Italians.
I see.
See, because England, it's not only because of my father that was born in England, and so this is the reason why I'm half British, but it's because I know that first of all England is an island, so they are more conservative in terms of respectful for their own tradition. The quality of the English language and the singing of songs. If you hear from Dolan music until Benjamin Britten, it's not changed so much.
I see.
The way they sing, no? The way perhaps is also the language that works in a certain way. The language for the singer is fundamental, no? Because it sounds already its sound, and then we put it in singing. So we add other sounds on it. But the musicality is already there. And for me, the respect, for example, for the big tradition of choirs that the British has a lot.
I see.
And the quality of the intonation, how important is the tuning, to have the right tuning. That the Italian lyric school doesn't really have a lot.
I see.
Cioè, we sang because of the lyrical technique of the vibrato, for example. The vibrato. Sometimes the vibrato is so strong that you don't recognize the melodic line. Cioè, no, when there is this micro, no, when there is a half tone, for example.
Microtones, yeah.
But yeah, no, we don't use very much microtones in our Western tradition. But it's what I mean. Cioè, if I do a vibrato, la, so, before you understand where is the real center of the, you hear thousands of sounds. But the vibrato was using because when you have an orchestra of 60 elements who are playing loud like hell, and you must go
on top of them.
On top of them, and you are far away from them.
Yeah.
Because you are here, no? The orchestra is in front of you, and then there is a public. I don't think that the nuances of singing.
And no microphones.
I said exactly. This is why the microphones helps. No,
Yeah.
but the nuances of singing are lost.
Yeah.
And in the period that why I did also the early music is also because I was not so fascinated by the opera singer, no, by the opera singing, to be with a lyrical voice, but I was fascinated from the repertoire. I didn't expect to become a singer. I have to say that.
I see.
No, I wanted to do piloting. I was my passion is to fly.
You know that I'm an ex-pilot. I'm an ex-pilot. Yeah.
No.
No.
I took the first license.
You did.
When I was
This is
10 years
unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
And I was so for me, the music singing is a sort of sublimation of flying, no? And
you see this?
Oh yes! Oh, wow!
This is me flying in the Hawk fighter jet last year with the beard.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
No. Yeah, fantastic! Oh, wow! It's a dream for me. That's all. No. I was piloting only aerocraft.
Yeah. I did that flying too, but my batchmates, I was selected to fly fighters for the Air Force. I did not join at the last moment. So that's another bond we have for old music and techniques and flying. We are aviators, see?
Yes. Yeah. And it remains a bit of me now because I'm a modelist. I'm doing models of airplanes.
No.
Because
Don't
also
tell me.
it takes.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah,
sec.
I like it. Yes. Ma no! Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Oh, that's beautiful, eh? Ah, yes, yes. Okay. I see. No, I'm doing static models. I'm doing static models. But anyway, we are modelists, both of us.
Yes, there was some problem in the transmission. It restarted.
Okay.
So this is amazing that your passion was flying, and I handcrafted the instruments back to life. The rabab, for example. I think we will in the future we will do some work. This is my handcraft. So this is all single piece.
Wow.
Right. It's all single
Wow.
piece, and I'll maybe go like
It's
this.
incredible.
Yeah, this is all single piece, and so from an aero modeler to being a luthier, this is my journey.
Mamma
So I
mia.
handcrafted all the
Okay.
So this instrument, the gut strings are by our friend Mimo Peruffo from Vicenza.
Yeah.
So, so my journey, this is fantastic for me to, so you understand my approach. So all my aero modeling skills came handy when I handcrafted all of these instruments, extinct instruments back to life. So my work over the last 33 years has been, I revived the rabab, the taus, the saranda, and the playing techniques, the luthiery techniques which had died as well. So that's fantastic. So you had a passion for flying like I had. You flew like I did. You did aero modeling like I did, and you're singing like I do.
I also love all the furnitures you see here. I made that.
I see. I also want to know the technique of how you can park the scooter that you ride in your Elmira.
Sorry, what did you
I said I have to ask you the methodology, the technique, the technology, how you can park your scooter in your Elmira after you drive it.
Now it's very simple.
I know, I'm kidding. It's a model.
Yeah, I know.
So to come to some of the techniques, if you remember when I first wrote to you, and I want to share with the friends about what I heard. I mean, I was studying your work. Si dolce il tormento was one of the songs that was suggested that I work on. And when I was looking at different renditions, and I said, so my friends with whom I was working, Michele Careca and Luigi, everybody suggested this, and I chanced upon your work. And I, Dr. Francesca Casio, my she used to be my junior classmate and also my student. She's also joining already, and she was requesting again with regards to the vocal techniques. She's saying here, I look forward to attending a concert where you both will perform Italian and Gurbani 16th century repertoire together, accompanied by lute and rabab. And look, we are talking about rabab already. That was what she was commenting on. But I wrote this when Marco said, when I told him that, see, I was listening to this work by you only yesterday, and I spoke with Luigi Polsini if he knew you, and here he was, he shared the numbers, he introduced both of us. And then Marco said to me on 21st of March this year, we were all in lockdown, he says, well, I hope you liked it. So I said, I absolutely did not take the trouble of finding your number and then daring to connect with you only to tell you that I liked it. That was my little joke back, and I said, no, 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 I'm kidding. It is fantastic. You bring dignity over mere showmanship. I can see a responsible attendance towards the repertoire. Besides the fact that most repertoire is being sung with artificial voices that didn't exist before opera came into being. So it is just moving to see an actual human voice honor the songs that represent the best humanity has harvested. This was my note to Marco, and he said, "Oh, thank you for your words." I mean, he just wrote off like that. Anyway, this was my conversation. So, can we, before we go to the vocal techniques and the tormento, I'd love to have you share the technique of how it is sung today. But me and you were talking about our connection to Napoli. Of course, that is your place. I have the second connection. I have the second right on it. You have the first right on Napoli. For example, O Sole Mio was the one that Stefano Roffi from Rai 3 gave me, and I looked at the song and I worked on it. I even translated the text into Punjabi, but I translated the entire the parable, the metaphor, the simile into Punjabi. Not just, for example, it is O Sole Mio is my son, but here in India it's very hot, so we don't, in our romantic idea, it is not the sun, it is the moon. So it'll be La Luna Mia kind of a thing. But I translated Punjabi and I brought the moon inside in the story. So I translated the sentiment as well of what beauty is, what is the referrals that we have. But now O Sole Mio, the song is like Che bella cosa una giornata sola, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta. Per l'aria fresca pare già una festa, che bella cosa una giornata sola. Pardon my pronunciation.
No, it's very good.
It's okay. Ma nato sole, che bello è. O Sole Mio sta in fronte a te, O Sole Mio sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te. Now this is Neapolitan. It's not even Italian as language as we see it. It's an amazing language, and even many friends who are Italians didn't know what oine meant, oh girl, and nobody knew oine. And Francesca Rondinella, my very dear friend, she called me, says, no, I have to tell you what oine means. It means oh girl, my girl. It's not what people normally say in Neapolitan, oine. And then oine's ni adiye is also very Punjabi Nepali. We have a lot of shared sounds. Tu is tu for us, tu come stai, tu come va, tu come is Punjabi. Very, very similar sounds. I think it's the ancient Latin, Sanskrit, and Indic and the Mediterranean connections. How do you see, for example, and I was glad to hear that you've worked on this song, you've sung it as well. Now, this was sung at the time, 1899 is when the poet wrote, and I think the first recording is from 1901 of Enrico Caruso, is 1903. And he's singing with an opera voice. How did you look at this song? And then we go back, but this is a very interesting, when opera already existed and the song was written.
Yeah. Allora, opera already existed, and also singers of opera already existed. But all the singers of opera, Beniamino Gigli, Enrico Caruso, and others, you can recognize them very clear.
Yes.
Who is Caruso? Who is Gigli?
Yes.
You can easily recognize. But then Caruso was from Napoli, so for him was easy, to
sentiment that he brings is amazing. I don't think anybody sang like him.
In his own language. What is? There are 2 or 3 things to say about the Neapolitan song and about O Sole Mio. The first thing is how they develop this kind of songs. That is, there are a lot of connection with early time. In Napoli is considered the
seat,
capital
the seat,
of the songs, e cose. And this repertoire that is very high level composition in terms of songs, in terms of harmony, and in terms of text too, were adopted a lot during the beginning of the 20th century from what we call the posteggiatori, cioè the people, the parking men, the people who were, people who in former time, I mean at the second half of 19th century, they were outside the places where the people were meeting to eat, to discuss, to stay, to take care to the
horses, chariots,
horses, and to make a bit of money, they took guitar, mandolin, and then started singing songs that were songs from the tradition.
I see.
Then a lot of composers and a lot of poets who were also participating to this convivial situation, they found themselves a sort of game also to why not we write something that is so beautiful. Napoli, it's a beautiful town to live from late February until late November. You can stay outside. You stay there. It's not cold that is frozen or something. It's cold, but it's not something that you cannot support. So the life in the street and in the fields, in terms of all the restaurants, camps, and all the where you can under vineyard and olive trees, you can stay there and laughing, living there, making music, talking about poems, drawings, or just staying with a full belly, full of the quantity of food that no one can support. They enjoy every second. They enjoy life. Allora, these songs becomes more and more very. There were really a movement of poems, of poetries, who did this kind of repertoire, who increased the music and the text. O Sole Mio is exactly in this tradition.
I see.
But but the text of O Sole Mio, it's when the title is a misunderstanding.
I see.
Most of the time, because it's not speaking about the sun. The sun as a star.
It's only mine.
It's speaking. No, it's speaking about you, my love. It's speaking about how beautiful are you, that you are my son.
My son.
Cioè, it's not the principle. It's not me. It's not what I feel like this. It's what the nature took everything to concentrate in your front where the sun is shining. And I am lucky because I can see how close we are in our love, and I am lucky that by the fact that I can tell you, my love, that you are my son. The son of my life that is giving me. So the text is very tender.
Wow.
What was happening quite suddenly is that how it was written, da di da 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 di da 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 di da 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 di da 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 la da di da 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 di da da da. This is the refrain. The refrain. for the tradition of the opera singers, this was like a winner at a bingo, because you can express all the power of your voice, no? Yeah. Because the consonant, mana do sol, always the A very open.
Yeah.
So you become strong, a lot of volume, a lot of this oine. It's true that is a.
There was a signal problem. Can you?
No, you go.
There was a signal problem. Can you sing the example again? We couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
There was a video problem.
No, this is the melody.
Yeah.
And the oine, it's true that is you baby.
Yeah.
But it's also what we say to someone to catch the attention. Oine, listen to me.
Yeah.
No? Because ne is the contraction of nenna. Nenna or nanilla. Okay, that means giovane donna, young lady.
Young lady.
No? Nenna, nenna. Someone who is close to me, perhaps a friend, or also my young love.
Yeah.
And nanilla is children. No? Nanni. No? Ne and nanni. Allora, we say this, o sole mio, ma un altro sole, another sun, much better than the one who is, than the one that is in the sky.
In the sky,
it's much better than that. Is the sun that is shining on your front. And what I said that is a bingo for an opera singer is that you can use the full voice, but this is going totally against what the text is.
Sentiment is, exactly.
Because the last part of the last strophe is that's never singing, mostly not singing. It's always telling about what you said, that there is the moon.
Yes.
And that the things are calms. And all the things that this tiring day, working day, was tiring in that time. Working day is going on, and you perhaps have your window closed.
Luce nell'astre da finestra tua, una lavandara canta e se ne vanta. E petramente torce spanne e canta, luce nell'astre da finestra tua.
Esatto. And says, and the lover for me, in the way me and Guido Morini did this song.
I see.
Because Guido Morini is a huge musician, but really someone quite unknown, but is one of the best musicians I ever met in my life.
I'm wanting to be in conversation with him also, because I've heard him play. Yes.
Please do, please do, because it's very interesting what he can say. He has a huge knowledge about the music and the repertoire, huge. And what we did is to be softer and softer and softer.
I see.
So, almost nothing, because the night, because I don't want to disturb not the people around, but to disturb the nature, and to explore how beautiful you are, together with this moment of love. Together in this moment of love, and so for me was never a song of no push too much. This was the taste of a time, of that time.
Yes.
that was different. But also in the time, many people who was playing guitar, mandolin, and violin at the restaurants plays this song not loud but very soft.
I see. Can you show us how you interpreted that then? It'd be great to have
I don't have the recording here, unfortunately.
Oh no! Can you sing just like that? Give us an example. If you can sing.
Okay, just the very end, Manato solo più belle ne.
Quando fanno, you can sing the Quando fa notte solo se ne scende.
Aspetta,
I'll text you. Yeah, I'll text you.
Lavanna.
I'll just text you here. I'll send you on Skype only.
On Skype
right.
Chat? On the chat.
I will send you on the chat, Just a sec. I'm just sending it to you.
Yes.
Here we are. Chat.
Oh, yes.
Here we have.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe I should...
Okay, I sing from Quando fa notte o solo se ne scende.
Yeah, that's a beautiful... And it's a pity because nobody sings that. Only, I went and there was a recording in 1924, I'm forgetting the name of... I remembered him, it's been many months now. And I found that he sang the first and the second one. And when he was doing... I should remember the name of this gentleman, who's an amazing singer. And he did something like this is amazing what he did. That's amazing subtlety of how he did this little variation on that. It was amazing to see something very beautiful. Please, I shouldn't be singing in front of you this song. I have the original possible from you. Yeah.
Okay. Vediamo un po' la tonalità. Quando fa notte e il sole se ne scende, ma viene quasi una malinconia sotto la finestra tua restaria. Quando fa notte il sole se ne scende, ma il sole che bello in è, oh sole mia, sta in fronte a te, oh sole mia, sta in fronte a te, sta in fronte a te.
This is fantastic. And this is because Pavarotti and others, I couldn't, pardon me, he's a darling, he's a singer, big name, but I couldn't understand what he's doing. Because I thought the language was not, the dialect was not sort of being honored. And then, to come back, to take it up on the sea. Up on the, what's the use? Because somebody's closer, not to throw somebody far away, to send the boat crashing in the away lands. So I thought these sentiments are very important to...
Well, this is what I like always in doing during performances. I mean, I learned it not from, so of course about Neapolitan songs, but to studying the early music repertoire, it's for me something important, first of all, to concentrate upon the text, we will say.
Yeah.
First, it's important to read the text, to understand the text, and then to see how the composers adapt their music to the text. We don't have to forget that Claudio Monteverdi, in one letter, he said, music is slave of the words.
Oh, wow. Che baat hai.
Yeah, la musica è serva dell'orazione. That means not only the words, but of course the rhymes, how the rhymes works. And in fact, the highest poems that Monteverdi used were poems from Giovan Battista Marino, Giovan Battista Guarini, Torquato Tasso, Petrarca.
Yeah.
Not librettisti like the improvvisati, but someone very, very, pillars of the Italian literature.
I see.
And this is a big difference, because if you sing pillars of the Italian literature that you cannot understand one word, there is something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
For me.
Very well said.
And for me, I always, when I have the occasion to teach master classes to the students, I always ask the students, first of all, to read the text, but not to read the text under the music, to write down the text as the poem it is, and then to read it. And then to see how the composer adapts the music on it. When we have already the sound of the words, the meaning of the words, the semantic of what the writer wants with his poem, why he choose a word and not another one,
Yes.
in which way he chose, because Italian, it's a very beautiful language and rich and full of different atmospheres, full of different meanings. If you put it higher or lower, the meaning can change a bit.
Yes.
No? If you read it faster or slower, the meaning can change.
Yeah.
The attitude, 90% or maybe 98% of the students, the attitude of them to read it is to read as fast as possible. What did you say? Please tell me what are you saying? For me, it's important to live, no, to feel inside the meaning of the text, and then you can start to sing it, and everything will be different. Everything will be different. There is already a change in their voice, and then we do some adjustment when we need it, and but the adjustments are already starting from an upper level,
yes.
an higher level, because they already made a step. No? Many times they then studying this and this and this and this, they jump down. No? They will go back to the old habits. But I always insist in it. I am very focused in doing this. For example, the Combattimento di Tancredi e Clorinda by Monteverdi, that is taken from La Gerusalemme liberata di Torquato Tasso. If you don't know the story of the Gerusalemme liberata, it's difficult to interpret this piece. because Monteverdi took a piece, no, and you jump in a story of a battle of two fighters who you don't know anything about them, who you are, who they are. Oh, he's a man, he's a woman. Oh, yes, okay. So it's an old story. They like each other. Then they make no, they don't recognize. They kill them, and one die, and it's a poor man. It's not so easy. It's not exactly this. Eh? There are a lot of meanings, and there is something that comes before and goes after. Amarilli mia bella di Giulio Caccini, one of the most famous early music piece for singers in even in that time, because there were a lot of different rendition of it. So also for singing and gamba, with the gamba make 100,000 ornaments, impossible for a voice, but good for the gamba. Then Jacob van Eyck, flutenist of Renaissance, he made his own instrumental version of Amarilli mia bella. So it was a tube in that time already. Yes, Amarilli mia bella is a very nice story.
How does it go? Can you share with that?
Yeah, it's very famous. It says, Amarilli mia bella, non credi io del mio cor, dolce desio d'esser tu l'amor mio, credilo pur, e se ti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale, aprimi il petto e vedrai scritto il cuore. Amarilli, 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 il mio amore. Amarilli, il mio amore. Like that. It's a quite simple melody, beautiful, very soft, very nice. It was a tube in that period, and it's a story of an abandoned love. And you can feel that it's not abandoned like in that moment, but there is something that was happening before. Because you say, are you telling me that you are not in love anymore? So when you say to somebody that there is something that is not like that anymore, that means there was a story before. So we had to imagine the story. And then we have to transport ourselves at the end of the story that is never a full stop. It's something that will go on. So it's like in a movie, no? When you start looking at a place. You start looking at a place, there is and then the camera changes, but you still have the perception of what will go. And also the perception of what it was before. All this idea of creating a landscape is fundamental if you want to tell a story. Because otherwise you are, how to tell a story if you not see the persons? No? You can also tell a story about things, yes, of course, but you have to see those things. You have to describe the things, and with your voice, you need to describe the different characters, and you need to describe the feeling you have. So it's the music. It's not only the paper. Then it's something that comes from your internal mood, and you have to dare to open your internal door and to risk your own attitude to be who you are with the others, and then you go back.
Yeah. Interesting. Important. The even people have. I mean, Professor Francesca Cassio said, "Bravo, bravo, bravo, bravo," and then Ramanjeet, who's an actor. You've been an actor too. She's from Kolkata, joining. She says, "Soulful, Marco Beasley, many thanks." And then we were one of the top conservators, architects, Professor Ravindra Vasavada, also joining, who's worked very closely with Paolo Ceccarelli from Università di Ferrara and others. They're all sort of saying, so subtle and so touching. Cassio was mentioning, Francesca, and then it was also mentioning sung poetry. And then she mentioned about when you were talking about, because in the Gurbani, in the Sikh music, in our music, that is the classical music and also folk, the importance of the word is very much, and many people somehow think that it is word specific or word prominent, but I think there is something more deeper than that, and I really appreciate what you mentioned about the idea of understanding the word. And in fact, it's almost like you're reading my book and I'm reading your book. It's that deja vu for me. For example, if it's a text from let's say the late 16th century of Guru Arjan Dev, the 5th Sikh Guru, it says, "Mohan needana ave have har kajar bastar bharan ki ne udini 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 kab ghar averi saran sohagan charan sis dhar lalan mohe milavo kab ghar averi suno saheri milan baat kaho sagro aham mitavo tau ghar hi lalan pavo तब रस मंगल गुण गावो आनंद रूप ध्यावो नानक द्वारे आयो तव मैं लालन पायो री मोहन रूप दिखावे अब मोहे नींद सुहावे मीठी फिर है कहानी अब मैं सहज समानी मोहन लालन पायो री. So the one that you mentioned about choice of words, and I've always said that Sarana Sohagana Charana Si Sadhar, the plot is about a bride, the soul as a bride, and the creatore is the groom, and it's the wedding that is about to happen, about nirvana, it's emancipation, about to be emancipated, to be wed by the creatore while living. Yeah. So it's the ornamentation of the soul, of the mind, of the body, and body therefore. But it talks of the intangible ornamentation. And there's one line which says, the 5th Guru Arjan says, Saran is Suhagan, that the bride is now all ornate, but why hasn't the groom come? Why am I not already wed? That I am in trouble, I am in despair, I cannot live without the wedding. I want to be emancipated. So oh maestro, you told me to be ornate, my mind should be ornate, I should not have ego anymore, I should not have anger anymore. All I've done that now, but where is the groom? You promised that the wedding will occur. That's the plot. So the first paragraph, the first stanza is Sarani Sohagan. After being ornate, the bride is now at the feet of the maestro, says, I am at your feet. Lalan, Charana Sis Dhar. I am placing my head, but dhar is not rak. Rak is to place or to keep. Dhar is just to sacrifice, to offer. That means now I am not going to take my head away. It's a decision. That's the last resort. So the choice of dhar versus rak, only to keep or to place, but to offer, to sacrifice. In a way that I'm not taking whether now the wedding occurs or not, I am ornate, I am ready for the wedding. Now it is up to you. Here is my head. I'm not taking it back now. So I love the idea that you said that you have to understand why a poet or a mystic or a grandmaster chose a certain word. And first, it's important to read as poetry. Not just look at a notation and start singing character by character, alphabet by alphabet, phoneme or a monophthong or a diphthong, triphthong, etc. after another. No, it doesn't like that. It's not like that. A human body is a body. You see it in totality, not one nail, one hair. It doesn't work like that. So this is amazing. But I think where Francesca is mentioning about whether this is Shabd Pradhan, where the word is prominent, I don't think it's a word. It's the meaning of the word and how the music must portray, must enact, must sort of bring alive the meaning that the word contains singularly, collectively in a line, and then as part of the entire composition. So that, I think, is the class of poetry, and then the class of music that matched that which to sort of enable the birth of that which was inside, trapped in the womb of a poem. For me, it's that. Is it a way to look at it? Is it a correct way to look at it?
For me, it's for me that I prefer always the text to the music.
Yes.
It's absolutely important.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell. I don't want to say. Don't misunderstand me. That the music is not important.
Yes.
But the music is slave to the words,
Yes. Yeah.
as Monteverdi says. And I believe in what Monteverdi says, also because the quality of the music that Monteverdi added to his to this poem is one of the highest level of music.
It's because
And
of the
Monteverdi
understanding, because of the understanding of the word that he has.
Exactly.
The meaning of that
And
word.
Don't
Exactly.
forget, and don't forget that Monteverdi wrote only vocal music. All the symphonies he wrote were inside a vocal opera, but not a symphony or an instrumental madrigal for itself. They were always functional to a vocal process.
I see.
See, he was absolutely fascinated by the voices. In the Orfeo di Monteverdi, Monteverdi, that also the idea to choose Orfeo as a subject was not only to go back to the Tragedia Greca and to study of the idea of the theater of the Greeks using allegory and using God and goddess to the thing. Was not that. Orfeo is and was a porter of music. It was a witness of music. Orfeo is the one who was able, with his singing, to let the stones cry. Because he was a semi-god. So why Monteverdi considered so important the Orfeo? It's not only the game between all the other composers, Caccini, Peri, that made Euridice, that is the same opera, because it's Orfeo and Euridice. Orfeo is promised to Euridice, Euridice die, Orfeo go to hell, to the kingdom of the shadows, to take her outside, but then he was not able to resist to the temptations, and then he lost definitely his love, Euridice. As porter of music, these composers wanted to tell us something. How important is the new wave of what we are trying to do in that period. They come from outside the polyphony, in which Gesualdo da Venosa was the highest point.
I see.
Gesualdo, because he was 5 and 6 voices, extremely complicated harmony, but beautiful to listen. Cioè, I open a parenthesis, if you hear the responsorio from the Settimana Santa di Gesualdo, and if you hear the single voice, one single voice, you say, oh, this is totally foolish, because there is no melody in it. No? No, not at all.
Yeah.
But when you put the voices together, you have the meaning of it. You understand what it was. It's not easy, of course. It's not easy listening. It's not easy music. But the responsoria della Settimana Santa, the responsoria of the Holy Week, cioè the moment in which in our religion Christ is dying, so the model of our religion, the fundamental of our religion is dying. I don't think you will put it in a very light idea, no? But it's something that only a tormented soul like Gesualdo has can develop in a certain way. For example, I just do a vocal example.
Please, yes.
Of a melody, del responsorio della Settimana Santa, the Sabato. The first line of one of the tenors. I sang it long time ago. Six male voices. We enjoyed a lot. It's doing like that. Cioè, listen to the melody. Sic ut ovis ad uccisionem ductus est et dum male tractaretur non aperuit ossum. It's not easy to remember, but when you hear, it's also a melody that is strange because it's scattered, no, goes up, down, but only together take and make sense.
Right.
It's after that, of this polyphony, what they can do then.
Yeah.
So decided to add something new, to try to do something new, something that is expressive, but at the same time not only expressive, but also in which the voice can give you feelings, but in one person. Not need more this group, this entity. Because a madrigal group is an entity as a cellular group of cells, not becomes one. 6 person, 5 person group becomes one. But in that case, composers needed one person who represents, who takes the responsibility to tell something very clear to the others. And what is the Orfeo? It's exactly this experiment. We are really in the beginning of 17th century, and Monteverdi, in his score, in a moment you see that for the same exemplo, for the same song, he put 2 lines of singing. One is flat, and the second is full of ornaments. Full of ornaments.
That's amazing. What a construct. So one straight and then this one.
One is straight, and the second one is full of ornaments. This second one, the moment in the story, it's the moment in which Orfeo is after the door of the Ade, of the kingdom of shadows, and he tried to let Caronte, that is the one who is taking the soul from the shore of living part to the death part. Caronte with Cerbero, three heads, it's always the monster who is always try to making try to scare the people, not scare the souls. This is not a kingdom of wonderful things. This is the kingdom of shadow things, the kingdom of obscurity, in which then we decide where you go. What was there is that Orfeo tried with his singing, because he was a semi-god, to let Caronte understand his love for Eurydice, and so let him pass, even if he is alive.
I see.
Why we have these two lines? Because one, the flat one, is the line Monteverdi wrote for the singers. The second line is the line Monteverdi wrote for Francesco Rasi, his singer.
I see.
The one who can do that piece.
I see. Can you show both of them, if you don't mind?
No, I cannot.
No, you must.
No, I can't. And this is a clear decision for me, because I never sang it.
I see, really?
Because what I was studied it, but was never convinced me.
I see.
That quality of my singing in doing these ornaments can be enough to let a possible soul in front of me be astonished, and then give me the open door to go.
That's fantastic.
This is a sort of respect I have.
Wow. Amazing.
Because I don't feel enough good. I feel too human for that, you know. But not because Monteverdi is a god or something. No, because he knows what Francesco Rasi can do.
Yes.
The taste. We have an example of the taste of that time, no? Without any treatise, because this is a small treatise of ornamentation, and it's quite. I've heard Nigel Rogers, that is a British singer. Now he's quite old, but he did this, and I was astonished how he was doing all the ornaments.
I see.
The speed of the ornaments, and it was the one who was to which I was more convinced to listen to his
interpretation,
fast, and then also the color.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But I never dared to sing it, and I was asked since a few years ago to do.
I see.
But I said no.
But
To be honest,
very powerful. This is very powerful what you've shared, because people don't have that sensitivity, and it shows the disconnect they have with the text and the plot of it. And for me to hear it, I always tell them, it's again, as I said, deja vu. I tell them, don't just sing anything from the verses. Choose it. The text must belong to you. It must tell your story. Do not lie. It must be, you must be telling the truth. If you don't sing that which is your truth, it's all artificial. It has no meaning. It is meaningless. And for me to hear that here is someone half the world across also speaking the same language and portraying even more sensitivity. I'm hardly sensitive, but who's attending? This is called responsible attendance to text. Responsible attendance to even music.
For me, I think a performer cannot do everything. Cannot do it. But there is something in which we have limits. Now, for example, with the age, now I'm 63. With my age, I'm not able to go higher as I was before. For example, no, with my notes, high notes, in a way I lost them. But it's natural. So it's a natural process.
Yeah.
I don't sing anymore some pieces who were so loud, but I sang. This is what I'm satisfied because I sang.
You sang.
No? Yeah. So, but I don't need to demonstrate to the world that I sang.
Right.
It's something that I need to demonstrate to me.
Yeah, and tell us if you can share a couple of things of Monteverdi to introduce to us as part of this conversation. Introduce to us how was Monteverdi's musical construct and the poetic, the relationship with the poetry of the melody. If you can share demonstrate something. Yeah.
Ma guarda, for me Monteverdi is considered one of the best composers for voice. And this consideration is because when you sing a piece composed by him, it's easy to sing. It's extremely difficult if you don't know the language of in which the style is written. Sorry, in which the style is written. But when you know something about that, and when you see how Monteverdi wrote the things, the contact is very strict.
I see.
It's very strict. He was passionate about literature. He was passionate. He traveled a lot between Cremona, Mantova. He was also in Rome, then in Venice. Somewhere he traveled to find someone who can let him survive. No, because we don't have to forget that life is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard today. I don't know how hard it was in that period. Gesualdo da Venosa can do what he did because he was a noble, he was rich.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he was writing this kind of music for someone, for some rich mecenat. This mecenat says, "Oh, that's beautiful." Perhaps he has to change the things. I don't buy this kind of music. I want something different. Monteverdi wrote always good music, and with Monteverdi was Alessandro Grandi, was Giovanni Felice Sanchez, was Biagio Marini, all names of was Girolamo Frescobaldi, all names of people who was writing music a very high level, very, very close to the words. Also Sigismondo d'India, that is considered almost unknown, very active in Sicily, in the very south of Italy. It's incredibly his music. It's very also difficult to sing, but very deep inside the words matter. Because the research was exactly that, to express in music something that is important for our soul, the affetti, how to express laughing or crying, to say something soft or to scream like a beast. No? They call them the affetti, melancholy. The difference the Italians. Not
The signal had gone. If you can repeat the last thing you said. There was a signal issue.
I was talking about the mood, the different mood that we call the affetti. There was a theory that was called la teoria degli affetti. That teoria in Italiano means not only the theoretic things, but it is also the quantity of c'era una teoria di cibo. There was a lot of food, of different food. But the theory is something that is making difference, not only thing. So a collection of. And there was this collection of affects, feelings of different mood to be expressed. There was also the come si chiama, the modus agendi, that is the how we practically, an actor practically say something using the hands. How important is to use the hands. For me, I am lucky because to be Neapolitan, we in the south of Italy, we use a lot the hands to express the things. In the north of Italy, less. But the hands says a lot. This gesture says, could say, come here, no? But the same gesture, if I do like that, and if I do like that, just turning the hand, I already changed totally the mood. But if I stay like that, and then I take you, we can go back, and I can take you on my heart, but that is not closed. My heart is always open. See, all this gesture create a lot. Amarilli mia bella, no? Credilo pur che se ti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale, aprimi il petto e vedrai scritto il cuore. Cioè, few gesture and you understand what I mean. The fact is that no one learned it now, and the singers are like that, with their hands, of all the hands put in a very mechanic way. We don't know what to do with the hands. Many students say, but I don't know what to do with the hands. But let them talk.
Yeah.
You are attached to your body. Let them talk to you. Yeah.
Can you demonstrate if you can sing that part and show the movement of the hands? It's fantastic. Absolutely.
It depends. Okay, Amarilli, I sang it before, no?
Yeah.
Start. Amarilli mia bella, non credi del mio cor, dolce desio d'esser tu, l'amor mio. Credilo pur, e se ti morta sale, prendi questo mio strale, aprimi il petto e vedrai scritto il cuore. Amarilli, 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 è il mio amore. Amarilli, è il mio amore.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
Simple
Absolutely.
movements,
Yeah.
Continuously, and then you can tell something with your hand.
That's fantastic. And
I think
yes,
that is a bit late for me.
it's late.
But yeah,
we're only
6:30.
Oh, is it really already? I didn't even bow. I was just like, now there's so many conversations. There's so many questions I have. Yeah, 6:30. Can we maybe sit another time? Because there are many conversations, questions with regards to the vocal technique that I would love to ask and delve further about that, and other Neapolitan music and so on and so forth.
I can still be here for half an hour.
Okay. Yes.
Let's see what.
Yes, sure. That's very kind of you. And then in a few weeks we can sit, maybe your itinerary and my time permitting, we can see more questions, more technical questions vis-a-vis that, we can do that. Now to look at talking of the vocal ornaments of in use during Monteverdi's time. Can you demonstrate some of the and speak about the vocal ornaments that were in use? For example, if you look at he's what, 16th century, 15th, 16th century, is it? Monteverdi, 17th century. So that's okay, 16. So that's Guru Arjan's time, for example, is around that, and between him and Guru Tegh Bahadur's time. Look at something from Guru Arjan, the one, if I were to demonstrate. So the composition goes, Mohanani dana, Mohanani dana, aave haave, har kajar basar avaran kine, har kajar basar avaran kine, udini 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 kab ghar avari mohanani nidana mohanani. And the first stanza is Saran Sohagan Charan Sis Dhar Lalan Mo He Milavori Kab Ghar Avari Mohananid Mohananid Mohananid. Now the third part, Suno Saheri, Suno Saheri, Milana Baat Kaho, Milana Baat Kaho, Sagaro Amitavu, Tau Ghar hi Lalan Pavu, Tab Ras Mangal Gona Gavu, Tab Ras Mangal Gona Gavu, Anād Roop Dhyavu, Nanak Dwara Ayo, To Mēlā len payo ri, To Mēlā, To Mēlā, To Mēlā len payo. The last part, Mohan Roop Dekhav. Now the beloved is, the Creator is now showing the presence. The attainment has happened, celebration has happened, and it goes in 7 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mohan Roop Dekhav, Ab mohe neend sohav, Roop dekhav, Mohan Roop dekhav, Ab mohe neend sohav, Sab meri dekha bujhani, Ab main sahaj samani, मीठी पिर है कहानी, सहज समानी, मीठी पिर है कहानी, मोहन लालन पायो री, मोहन लाल, मोहन लाल, मोहन लालन पायो. This is like Early 16, 2, 3, around that time. Oh, that's you very kind. My voice is dead. I haven't slept much. But I wanted to demonstrate the ornamentation. So my work on what was the ornaments used when the oscillation is occurring, like when the ego is reflected that, oh, I have adorned myself with all the virtues that there were. So, har kajar basar so I have adorned myself. I am now ornate as a bride. That the movement, the coming of that oscillation, the gamak, the heavy oscillation is only to depict, to demonstrate the coming of ego, of pride, of being ornate. It's narcissism. But subtle, very subtle display that I have attained. I am ornate. But then the despair that Kab ghar avari. But when will the Creatore, when will the beloved come? And the elongation of of pain that I'm not able to sleep, I'm not able to rest, I'm impatient, I'm dying. I will die if the beloved doesn't come. That intensity is, so any ornament that is being brought is directly related with the need, the compulsion of the word, and the plot and the state of the being, the spiritual state of being. So is the reason why I demonstrate to ask you how you see in the same era of 15th, 16th, 17th centuries, the relationship with the word and the music that was being sort of created to serve the need of the word.
First of all, talking about ornaments, no? It's important that people doesn't think too much to it. But what ornaments are? No? The ornament is something architectural that you put in something that is already beautiful to ameliorate, no? Or to emphasize the beauty of this line. But how many times in music we use ornaments in the worst way?
Yes.
Who cut the symbols of the line itself, instead of adding pleasure, it put the pleasure far away, because becomes a pleasure not for the music itself, but for ourselves. So it's my look how good I am to do ornaments. No.
It's a display. No. It's like a catwalk of ornaments.
It's a display. I can do it, so I do. No. It's wonderful that if I have a power, if I know to have a certain power, that I decide not to use it. This is rare, because a lot of times, if we have power, we use. No, but instead, it would be great to have power, but not to use it. To decide not to use it. For example, allora Monteverdi, in his Combattimento, he wrote expressively in the preface, says, these singers will not do any ornaments than in a special moment. But he don't say, he says where is the moment in which they can do ornaments. It's a small area that is called la notte, anzi, notte. Notte che nel profondo e oscuro seno, it calls the first line. It is a moment in which the situation of the two fighters, Tancredi and Clorinda, that I tell for the people who doesn't know nothing about the Combattimento, but I know that I think everybody of our listeners more or less knows what it is. But Tancredi is a Christian knight, and Clorinda is a Saracen princess. One of the best fighter of the Saracen, the Turkish nobility. She is, Tancredi is a very strong knight, but also very noble man. Cioè, he always makes, come si dice, always make tribute to his enemy when he killed the enemies. Tancredi, time before, he felt in love with Clorinda. And always he saw her fighting because she was wearing a white armor with a special cap. He always tried to not to go that side, tried to not be in contact with her, to continue loving her from distance. Allora, that night, Clorinda was wearing a black armor because she went together with other two, together with another fundamental, prince of Saracen nobility, to try to destroy the armored.
Trying to reconnect. Please, yes, we are back.
Okay. So the Saracens were in Jerusalem, and the Christians were assaulted Jerusalem. Already 10 years that we're doing that. We are in 1099, the first crusade. And so that night, where she went to make this attack to the armored tower in wood. So she and another prince that was called Argante burned the tower, the Christian towers. Then when they went back to the door of Jerusalem, Argante was able to go inside fast, but Clorinda not. She decided to do another path and found Tancredi that was alarmed and was outside, and because of the black armor she was wearing, he didn't recognize her. So he didn't recognize the woman he loves, the reason of his life in that moment. No? Allora they start fighting, and Tancredi asked, "Who are you? Who are you?" And she said, "I am one of those who destroyed the tower of the Christian." "So you have to die," says Tancredi. No? So we fight, and we will not survive. One of us will die. So the duel was definitely. But he didn't recognize her. So in that moment, Torquato Tasso, while they were studying each other, Torquato Tasso put off the camera, off the attention to both the knights, to both the duelists, to go somewhere and to look at the night, at the moon, at the stars, at the silence all around, and the burning towers that the Christian was there, in saying that what they are doing in this moment will be fundamental for the for the future. It's something that will be remembered for centuries. And what is interesting, Torquato Tasso used a very good word that says "degne di un chiaro sol," cioè that is what they are doing is something proud for a lighting, to be exalted by the memories, but they are also degne, cioè proud, for a whole theater, the theater of life. But what is interesting is the word theater. because it's the theater of our life. In that moment, Torquato Tasso is very clear that we are reading the book.
Yes.
It's very clear that it's happening on but what is happening, what is describing in literature is the story of our life, of our torment, of how much we...
Yeah. Oops. Trying to connect again. There's some problem going on. Yes, there was a
yes.
problem.
Okay.
Yes, please continue.
You're
yes.
Right. Yeah. So,
the theater of life, yes, that we are reading, reading, yeah.
Yeah. And in this moment, what Tasso says these words, no? And this is the moment in which Monteverdi created a madrigal song. Are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there, yeah.
Yes, you are there. Yes. In which Monteverdi created a madrigal song in which are not anymore Tancredi and Clorinda,
I see.
but is devoted to the reader, to you who are the reader. Infatti, the genius of Monteverdi says that we have three singers for this combattimento. One is Tancredi, the second one is Clorinda, and the third one is you, the text.
I see. Fantastic.
This is the third people, testo. Not Marco, Giovanni, Pasquale, text. So, to create a personal, to humanize the text, the reading. But it's really the reader who is there and who participate, and then the other written words on it. Allora, I tell you what's happening. So how Monteverdi wrote the first lines. It says, notte che dal profondo e oscuro seno chiudeste, e nell'oblio fattosi grande, degno di un chiaro sol, degno di un pieno teatro, opere sarian sì memorande. And Monteverdi write it like that. Che nel profondo e oscuro seno chiudeste, e nell'oblio fatto sì grande, degno d'un chiaro sol, degno d'un pieno teatro, opere sarian si memorande. This is the first four verses.
Right.
Allora, which kind of ornaments we can have? There are a lot of possibilities. When I sing, my choice is to not move anything.
I see.
It's just to add few things, because already is darkness, and already there is a lot of movements somewhere. So this moment, apparently this moment of rest, is not a moment of rest. It's just a suspended frame in the movie, suspended frame, in which a different universe is coming and say, look, now it's my time to say, look what will happen now. It's like someone who you are looking at a movie of a spy story, and someone comes and say, what happened? Well, who is this? Who is that? Who is that? That is disturbing.
Yeah.
No? I'm just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But, for example, there is a possibility that is this one. che nel profondo e oscuro seno chiudeste e nell'oblio fatto si grande, degno d'un chiaro sol, degno d'un pieno teatro, pressadien si memorande. So it's
Fantastic.
different as additional ornaments that will not perhaps disturb too much the sense of the words. But for me, many times, I prefer to put ornaments off, to just use one or two,
I see.
to give the idea of ornament. That is something additional, because not to the beauty of the line, but to the feeling of what you are telling. I see one thing, when you were singing, you also use your hands a lot.
Yeah.
To follow the melody,
Yeah.
to express the melody. And when you have degno di un chiaro sol, degno d'un chiaro sol, degno d'un pieno teatro, when you are in public, and you show to the public that it's full, the church, the theater where you are singing, this is an embrace of them. So you take them with you to let them listen to the story, to participate to the story, to understand the drama it will come. Because a drama will. Because they will fight, and Tancredi will kill her.
Yeah.
And then she is asking for something to him. But he says, but how can I give you the water of the baptisma? If first I need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And she never says, I am Clorinda. She doesn't say anything. She says, amico, my friend, you won. And now, it's bleeding everywhere. And now I need, please give me the water of the baptisma. From Tuscany, because Clorinda was already Christian.
There was a signal problem. So we were give me that she was bleeding from that time.
Bleeding, and then she's asking for the baptisma, no? But not because in the last moment of her life she decided it's better to become, to not be Muslim anymore, to become Christian. No, she's going back to what she was at the beginning, because she was born as a Christian and then become Muslim, and then decides to go back to Christianity. We are in the moment of counter-reform. But it's so there is a lot of meanings behind this. Now it's a difficult moment, no, when we talk about this stuff. We with open mind.
We understand the context. Absolutely.
Exactly. But then when he went there, he put his cup off, and he went to a river, a small river that was close to there, to take some water, to give her the last water of her life. And he put off the cup of her, and he recognized that he was killing, that he killed. Other words.
I think we lost the connection again.
Okay. I say. So he went to the.
Just let me. Yes. Better, yeah.
He went to the river, take the water. He put off the cap of Clorinda. He recognized her, and in that he don't not only recognize her, but he recognized that he was killing, that he killed the reason of his his love. And he gave her the water, and she died in peace. This was the moment that Monteverdi wrote of the Rosarian Bath. It's very high moment, very strong, full of meanings, because I am still singing the Combattimento in these years, and I'm still finding a lot of meanings behind this, and also because we don't have to forget that Torquato Tasso wrote the whole life since when he was 15 years old.
I see.
Wrote the Gerusalemme Liberata. He became mad about that. He always went back to some parts to correct, to adapt. He made 2 different editions. There was a big mess. Which one was the first, the second? Because his whole life was devoted to Jerusalem. Of course, he made a lot of other poetry, but the Jerusalem Liberata was the red line of his acting. Monteverdi took. This is why I also love very much more. And the tomb Monteverdi, Frari in Venice. You go there, you will not really recognize.
I see.
Because it's inside a small chapel, very small chapel, there is a piece of stone, on the floor, where is written Claudio Monteverdi.
That's it.
No other words.
Nothing else.
And the rose on the that's all.
That's
because this is
that's how they live. They live even now. And look, I was introduced to Monteverdi. You introduced him fresh, 2020. I think Monteverdi still lives, and that is how I think that's the idea of conservation. And in terms of imbibing, assimilating the sentiment, not just the mortal remain of a song, but a living song, not a dead body of a song. I think people run away with dead bodies of songs, words that are dead, music that is dead. It is there, but it is not there.
It's not there.
Yeah, and then for that to happen. Oh, that's fantastic. I know that we have just a few more minutes. There are multiple conversations, and I'll maybe in 2, 3, 4 weeks, whenever we can, for a part 2 of this conversation, and I will put all the questions and queries, because I've seen many questions about vocal techniques, about your own training and all that. It'll take longer. It'll take at least another couple of hours, but I'll keep it for the next time. To come down to, because I don't want to rush those. Those are very important, because those, once we start, there might be questions that I might actually want to ask. And because I think training, pedagogy, it's like a masterclass for youngsters who are listening, both to me and to you. And I think that is a subject I would be very I would rather deal with it responsibly, and not just as a as a brush off kind of a thing, kind of a thing, not as a write off. I think that's where the possibility of inspiring newer maestros.
We will.
But Francesca had because she has, as she told me, I was surprised. I've known her since '93. She used to study with one of my teachers, and she has also been studying from me, and she's focusing on the Sikh sacred music, classical music, and she's a professor of music at Oxford University. She said that, wrote to me that she loved your interpretation of Alla Carpinese, a folk song recorded by Carpitella and Lomax during their fieldwork in Apulia in the late 1950s. So she says, if you can kindly ask him to sing it, he did an amazing version of this love song. So maybe we can end there, and anything else that you would like to share, and then we'll continue our conversation whenever Mother Nature will decide in the next weeks.
Allora, then I sing the second strophe of La Carefree.
I see. Okay.
It's a pity that I don't have the instrument.
Yes, I know.
With me, but it's only by voice.
Yes, of course.
But,
we are in lockdown.
And it says, the text says, Lucio sole quando è buono di. There is a lot of sun when the time is good.
I see.
It's obviously no. But this word is to justify how beautiful is your breast when there is a beautiful time, and how almost sacred is your breast, because you have two silver swords. Yeah, that is a symbol of also sacrality, because when you put the cross like that is sacrality. See, these words, and how beautiful it could be when we will meet, and perhaps I can be the one who take this precious treasure from you. It's a very beautiful moment. Let me remember the melody. Lucia lusola quando è buono tempo, Lucia lupetta tuia, donna galanda ambieta tienaruia, pugnala argenta chi li tocchi bella. E a chi li tocchi belle ci passando, e te li tocchi io che sol l'amanda, e in paradiso jam certamente vuol dire là, e che la vola femmina fa, vuol dire là, che la vola femmina fa, vuol dire là, che la vola femmina fa.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
This is.
That's the etiquette of receiving or waking up the sound from the silence, sustaining it over a desired period of time, and then to put it to rest. That is such a sacred moment. But I see, as I say, that I see butchery of music more often than love and affinity and use of it, not to abuse that gift of that. Of course, I've tarantella and these Neapolitan folk and classical traditions is something that I had really I would want to delve in detail. But if there is something lighter for our friends who are joining, something that's peppy and fast, there's a typical tradition of text going in double, like faster pace, medium tempo, that there are.
Due racine che chi va a mare, le vanno voglia da censurare, se facette ruba lo vestito di sciarpe di spino polito con una parrucca tutta griffata, tiarella bracciolata, con la sciaboscia, con le pusi, dopo un angreso fino due belle cateneglie da promuovere con gay, una cappiella gallonata, da cutarina da luce salata, tutto posto, stare a riella, gli va facendo lo sbafandiella, girava da qua e da là, innamorata posso trovare.
Fantastic.
Fast enough?
Well, okay.
Yeah. This is a much longer song.
Oh, then why did you only sing it?
The story about fish, the battle of fishes in the deep sea of Naples. We will talk about that in the
next time. Yes, it'll be wonderful to hear it. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Marco. It was really very, very kind of you to take time out. And of course, it was kind of me to ask you to waste your day with me.
Okay, fine.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. And
thank you very much, and be in touch and say hello to all your guests there in in this direct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Buonanotte. Yeah,
Buonanotte.
buon appetito anche. It should be dinner time for you.
Buonanotte for you. Buonanotte for you.
Yes.
Buon appetito for me.
Anche per me, buon appetito. Non ho mangiato niente. Adesso mangiamo,
okay.
vediamo che c'è la pasta napoletana o che c'è la pizza, non lo so. Vediamo chi ha fatto chi ha fatto Maurizia.
Okay.
Yeah. We will see you soon. Yeah. Bye. Yes. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
So, dosto, friends, this is my conversation with Maestro Marco Beasley, and it was extraordinary. What a conversation, and there's so much that that I see that he sees the way I see, and the way he sees I see. It was absolutely fantastic, and what a thinker. I mean, they see a thinker, a vidwan, he's a litterateur. He's not just a musician, and I think. It's music and more. I think that is really moving. The last one was fantastic, isn't it? We are not the only ones who do the text. So I'm going to quickly look at some of the comments that you've written. Of course, you said plenty of bravos and fantastico Marco, and absolutely I agree with you. Professor Vasavra is here, and then. And Francesca also thanks. He did your farmaish. Rupa Chakravarti, how are you? Grazie, buonanotte, an exemplar of knowledge, ability and execution, both a privilege and pleasure. Ambassador Sarvajit and of course Rupa Chakravarti, that's so wonderful. I'm going the other way around. I should be coming from up down. The prompts diminish the technological problem. Yes, I know. I'm so sorry. There's paint work going on in my. There was a lot of termites and fungus that's been removed, and I went there. I did 2 days, but it was very strange odor there. So I requested project architect at Anād Foundation, Gurjot Singh Bahia. He got, since yesterday and today they've painted and stuff, so it will take another couple of days before I can actually get back to my foundation office. So here it's, I don't know, now I'm connected. I have to in the end connect via my phone, so I'm using the cellular data, which is good enough. There's not a problem, but I wish I had known. Like yesterday there wasn't any problem. I was sitting here, but today there was a game. So my apologies really for this technical and technological issues, but I'm glad that you were fine with how I was trying to manage with it. Professor Francesca Casio, Aka Balehari says, even if I was familiar with this musical literature, it is such an insightful explanation of Monteverdi's Combattimento of Tancredi and Clorinda, and that is a powerful learning experience. Thank you, Maestro Beasley. I agree with you. I second that. Ramanjit Kaur says, I see so many similarities in both few maestros, Marco Beasley and Bhai Baldeep Singh. The demeanor, the nurturing, the purity, humility that comes from delving deep into the music of the soul. That's very well put, and thank you for that. I think I see that as I shared that proverb, Indic proverb, the South Asian proverb that "Sau bavre sau mat sau syanek mat." It has been my experience over the years that wherever I've seen class, I see similar tendencies. So it's not that I'm representing class, but the elders that who introduced me to what I have tasted, and therefore try to conserve and revive and recover and consolidate and make disseminable again, or bring back to life, in other words, is that the grand elders from the Orient or the Occident both saw similarly, whether they were codified at ragas, but we forget that until about 2000 years ago there were no idea of ragas. There was music but no raga structures. So there are similarities in the sense wherever there is intelligence and wisdom that is married to artistic expression, we are very similar. And you could see that in him. I didn't want to really ask him further questions. I knew there's a limited time that I had requested. He had an appointment, and we'd been working for the last couple of months when we could meet. And I didn't want to open up a new conversation. This being the first formal conversation, I wanted him to speak. I didn't want to push back or sort of ask him for further elaborations. But one thing that I saw is that the way he has looked at the words, the literature, the meaning, I think one sees, one is able to witness how enormous is heritage, is that which is what we deem as heritage, and intangible and tangible both. The poetry, the words that there are, the way they are written, and the fact that they were written centuries ago, and the music at times that we have. For example, my follow-up on what he sang was when he was talking about ornaments, is when he gave illustrations of one where he is singing without ornaments, and then he is employing certain ornaments, one or two ornaments. But my follow-up question next time would be whether he was interpreting or adding ornaments on his own, or are the ornament, there's a memory of how the ornaments were used that has come generation from a generation to another, and until it reached him. So these are some of the questions I will want to dig deep into. But I think both of us are moved by the poetry and by the music, the purity of the music, and it somehow will sort of give a misleading impression that I have humility. I see that Maestro Marco Beasley is an embodiment of humility, and the way he did not want to touch something, or the way he said that I will not sing as much as I did earlier, the notes that I touched when I was younger, that he's now 63 and sees that he's not able to foray into certain areas, octavely singing, if I may. I'm not in that class. I'm just a researcher. I think I have plenty of arrogance and obstinacy still left in me. But I see that it's a heritage. It's the knowledge that we are talking about. And I'm in awe. Yes, I'm in awe. I cannot deny. I am moved by it. I'm a fan of that knowledge and that knowledge system, that ecosystem in which that knowledge actually was harvested, and that which I've been trying to recover. But I see I understand what you mean. Vibhuti Sachdev, Arupa says less is more, stupendo, yes. And then Vibhuti says, which she's asking rather, what is the role of church in promoting secular themes in music? Where were they performed, festivals and weddings? I think I'll be keeping these questions, and when we have him available next, we will. I would rather him address that. And then, of course, there are other comments which are more relevant to at the time whatever was happening. Balihari says not even an early music singer would consider demeaning singing an opera song. I think that's again a conversation that was going on with Professor Savra about the Dhrupad and opera and what Marco Beasley was doing. But again, I think the conversation I have, there are over 150 people that are still on the list that I am slowly going to be talking to. There are opera singers, and we'll ask some of these opera related questions to them. And of course, I think it is important, Professor Savra, that I address some of these questions to Marco about why. Of course, the one answer is there, that he is dealing with music in which opera voice was yet to be born. Opera comes, I think, if I'm not wrong, around the 19th century. But what Marco's, and the reason why I've been really moved by the way he's been working is, and some of the examples that he was giving of those who have rendered it with a voice which is pre-opera kind of vocal expression. And but then we will see, we'll have him, rather that I ask him to address about what is opera, if he can render, if he would want to choose to give an illustration, or the way he does. But I think more the kind of maestro he is, the kind of an ustad he is, he would rather do what he does and not what he does not. But I think that's a very, very important conversation to have. Oh, Ramanjit says he looks 55. I think he's younger. I would give him 45. And then there is someone I know who's around that age and is similar. Humility, yes, I see, Raman, that you see a lot of humility in him. I agree with you that he's an amazing musician. And Pandit Somdat Battu, I hope you're doing well. Nice renditions by Marco Beasley. I'm sure he would be very glad to hear that coming from one of the senior most musicians and maestros of South Asia. Balihari says would be useful to provide those who are not familiar with the history of early Western music with an indication of the era 16th, 17th century operas, of course, yes. Anyway, I would, and then of course the Bravos and others. So thank you so much really for joining. Tomorrow is another day. We have Sunday, we have a Sunday Baiṭhak. And I'm going to be in conversation with the senior most disciple of Padma Vibhushan, Vidushi Girija Devi. I'll be in conversation with Sunanda Sharma. And I hope that you will mark your calendar. My conversation with her begins at 6:30 p.m. onwards. I'll see if I can start at 5. I'll check with her. And she'll be joining from Pathankot, of course. I think my poster needs to be updated on that. And it'll be the 128th virtual Baiṭhak of the ongoing YaarAnād series, dedicated to the 550th birth anniversary of Sahib Sri Gurū Nānak Dēv. So this is very important in a way that Sunanda's work is extraordinary. She's spent many years, a very talented singer. She sings, of course, Khayal, but then specializes in Chaiti, Hori and Tappa. And I'm looking forward to hearing and learning about the pedagogical tradition, the pedagogy that she underwent at the feet of Vidushi Girija Devi. दोस्तों कल शाम नू 6:30 बजे हैगा, कोशिश करांगा मैं 5 बजे जे मैं कर सकां, बिकॉज उन्हां नाल मेरी गलबात काफ़ी लंबी होएगी ते इस वेले दा टाइम 6:30 हैगा, पर हले मैं लाइव वीडियो पाना हैगा, उन्हां नाल गल करके चैक करांगा कि जे 5 बजे शुरू कर सकते हैं. विदुषी पद्मा विभूषण गिरिजा देवी उन्हां दी सब तो सीनियर मोस्ट स्टूडेंट हैगे ने विदुषी सुनंदा शर्मा, विद्वान हनगे. काइंडली तुसी समा अपना मार्क कर लेना. कल दी शाम मेरे नाल जाया करन दा प्रण जरूर कर लेना, ठान लेना कि मेरे नाल शाम गुजारोगे. मैनू आस है तुसी तुहानू अच्छी लगी होएगी. मैनू पता है कि वार्तावां जड़ियां ने अंग्रेजी च हुंदियां ने या होरां च तुसी कई जने तुहानू शायद समझ नहीं आती, पर मैनू लगदा सुनना चाहिए. हर चीज़ जरूरी नहीं होती, सो कई बार सुनना चाहिए. भाषा ना भी आवे, देखना चाहिए लोगों को, क्योंकि ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੜੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਪੁਰਖ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਉਹ ਦਿਖਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਬਣਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣਾ. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਮਝੋ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਚੁਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਵਾਰਤਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆਣਾ, ਉਹ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ. ਇਹ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਵਿਦਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਲਮ ਹੈ. ਵਿਦਵਤਾ ਤੇ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਹੈ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਵੇ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਬੀਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ? ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਗਤ ਜੈਦੇਵ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ? ਕਿ ਭਗਤ ਰਾਮਾਨੰਦ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ? ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਹਿਲਾਦ ਨੂੰ, ਧਰੂ ਨੂੰ, ਯੋਗ ਵਿਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਟ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ? ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਲਾ ਮਨਾਉਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਮਨਾਉਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ. ਦੀਦਾਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਬੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਸੋਭਦੇ ਹੋ, ਦੀਦਾਰ ਲੋੜਦੇ ਹੋ. ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕੋਈ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਜੀ? ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹੋ, ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘੜੀ ਹੈ. ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਲੈ ਜੀ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਏ। ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਭਾਸ਼ਾਵਾਂ ਬਣਾਤੀਆਂ? ਜੇ ਰੱਬ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਜੂਨ ਬਣਾਈ ਤਾਂ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਇੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ। ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਮਨ ਘੜਨਤਾਂ ਨੇ। these are man made things. I mean, we make them. We make and not destroy languages and concepts. So ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਵਿਦਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ, ਜੁੜਿਆ ਕਰੋ, ਸੰਗਤੀ ਰੂਪ 'ਚ ਬੈਠਿਆ ਕਰੋ। न जाने कोई एक कण मिल जाए। बाणी नहीं कहती किणका एक जिस जी बसावे ताकि महिमा गड़ी ना आवे। तुसी कणके नूं नहीं दा इंतजार नहीं कर सकते। चातरिक जिहड़ी एक बूंद नूं तरसदी है पहली नूं, ਉਹ मतलब किन्नियां बारिशां बर्दाश्त कर जाती है, अपने जीवन काल जाती उस एक बूंद लई जिहड़ी ਉਹਨੂੰ तृप्त कर दे, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਨਿਰਵਾਣ ਪਦਾ ਪਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਹੈਂਕੜ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੈਂਕੜ ਖੋਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਲੈ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਥੋਪ ਦੇ ਭਾਅ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸਮੁੰਦਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਪਿਆਸ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਹਲੇ ਲੱਗੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੁੱਖ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਹੁ ਭਾਖਾਵੀ ਵਿਦਵਾਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਨੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ 'ਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸੰਗਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ। ਸੰਗਤ ਰੋਜ਼ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੈਠੀਏ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ। ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਡਿਸਕੁਆਲੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ 'ਤੇ ਆ ਜਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਲਮ ਕਿਉਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੁਣੇ, ਕਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੇਸ਼ੀ ਕਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਦਵੇ? ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖੇਗਾ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਤਾਂ, ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲ ਵੀ ਦੇਖੇਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਤਾਂ ਔਕਾਤ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਇਲਮ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁਖਾਤਬ ਵੀ ਹੋਵੇ। ਰੱਬ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਦਿਆਧਰ ਮੁਖਾਤਬ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਸ ਹੈ ਵਿਦਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੁਣੋਗੇ। ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਹੈ। ਮੋਂਤੇਵੇਰਦੀ ਦਾ ਕਥਨ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਗੀਤ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਫ੍ਰਾਂਚੈਸਕਾ ਕਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰੋਇਆ ਸਮੁੰਦਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਾਵਨਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ, ਅਰਥਾਂ ਦਾ, ਸੰਭਾਵਨਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਮੁੰਦਰ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਅੱਖਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰੋਇਆ, ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਹੈ। ਜੋ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਅੱਖਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ, ਅੱਖਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ। You see, Gurū Nānak or Kabir or Namdev or Ravidas are not speaking in words. They are using words to portray. They are portraying something. They're telling something by way of the words they are using. So the moment we connect with that which is being shared with us by the medium of the words, and then we match music to do with it, we have good music. That is, I think, something very, very important that we got to learn from Marco Beasley today. And what a maestro, what a performer. I am only amazed. And I was very glad to hear that Francesca has been also inspired by Marco Beasley's work. And then she mentioned that the reason why she came to India to learn Dhrupad and other forms. I mean, she studied Thubri as well and other forms. Vara, singing, the Birhade, the Sadh, the Alaniya, the Ghodiyan form genres, the Dadra and the Kehrwa forms of the way which were used centuries ago before all these Dadras came into being. I mean, she's been singing, and there's so many people who've been inspired, like I was inspired. And I hope to see you tomorrow, and we'll continue this conversation. I look forward to being in conversation with Maestro Marco Beasley in the near future. Thank you again for joining. Professor Vasavda, I'm grateful that you joined. That I know that I've somehow forced you to make your Facebook account. Even Francesca, both of you dueling today, both of you had allergies with Facebook. And now here we are. We are conversing here, and my apologies that I'm using this medium. And maybe in the near future I'll shift to YouTube because the kind of work that is just the production stage is so much that I'm not able to do anything else. It is taking 18 to 21 hours of the production of this Baithak series. And if I were to add post-production to it, I will need another 18, 20, 21 hours each day, because I work like an animal. I'm like the Sardar of demons when I work. And I just don't have two bodies. I cannot transform into two desks. Bhai Baldeep Singh, the post-producer, Bhai Baldeep Singh, the producer of and the host of the whole thing. So bear with me, people. I know that some people would have liked some of my hosts, some of my guests would have wanted their videos to be posted on YouTube immediately, but I would, once we've done audio restoration and color correction and so on and so forth, like today you saw Marco Beasley and me, we spent about 15 minutes trying to put the light there. His room was totally lit, but somehow the computer, the way it was showing, it was dim. It was dim lit, and we tried about 15 extra minutes to try and sort the light out, and we were all ready. But things like that. But technological, when we edit down, we can enhance the colors, increase the exposure and all that. So once it is done, we will also share on other platforms. But here we are, and we are doing as much as we can, and we are very humbled that we have this opportunity, that we have this platform in which we are able to invite some of the finest men and women and transgenders and people irrespective of their sexual orientation, their religious preferences, their choices, political preferences. Who cares? I'm talking about expression, art expression. I'm so grateful that we have as much as we have. We don't have the means to expand it beyond this. Whenever we have, we will do it. If we are smart enough with a small team to capable of producing this, we are smart enough to do other things as well. But if we are not doing that, it's only that we are bound by the means. We are humbled by the paucity of resources that we have, and I understand the world around, everybody is struggling. So I cannot ask for more. I'm grateful for what we have, and I hope that you are also, are grateful. Shukrana, as I say, is a very, very important gana to wear, an ornament to have. Have a wonderful night. Buon appetito to those who are yet to eat, like I'm yet to eat, and a very good night. I'll see you tomorrow at 5. Hopefully, I'll check with Sunanda. Otherwise, 6:30 is the time. But whenever the post will be set up, the live stream will be set up in the next hour or two, you will have the time ready. Satkartar. Khuda Hafiz. Varji ka Khalsa, Varji ki Fateh. Namaskar. And a very good night.